Hey folks, welcome back. My name is Cyrus Davis, and today I'm going to be taking another look at the Klawf Terapagos deck that I recently made a deck profile on and played on stream. This deck was invented for Sacramento regionals and had some success there, but elevated that success even further at the very next regionals at Stuttgart. It made top 8 at that regional, and then there were 31 people playing it in day 2, I believe, which made it the second most popular deck in the field, if I'm remembering correctly, which it had about a 50% conversion rate from day 1 to day 2, and that is just like absolutely insane. Half the players playing the deck making day 2 at such a large sample size. It's not like only like 5 players that played the deck and 3 of them made day 2. That's like 30 players advanced to day 2 with this deck. So taking the meta by storm, and one of the reasons that the deck is so good is because you get some of these free wins here against any Pokemon with 8 HP or less. You can donk them with this setup that we see on the board here. Petrun boost poison damage by 50, Sneasler boost poison damage by 20, and Brute Bonnet triggers the poison, so that is 80 damage of poison between turns, and you can make this happen even before your opponent gets to take a single turn. So this is, of course, a dream hand. We're going to open the only Charmander, no other basics, and we just had all of these in hand already. But it's actually simpler to get this setup than you might think. Let's take a look at some other sample boards here and how we can easily get the turn 1 Petrun donk. So now we have a significantly weaker hand, right? These 3 boss's orders, completely useless, because it is our first turn. Super the Glasses and Binding Mochi, also not going to help us get the donk here, but we have the Nest Ball and the Double Turbo Energy, and that is going to be all that we need. I do have the prices flipped up here just so you can see that we do require to have some specific cards not prized for this to work. You might prize one of the pieces, and that might stop you from getting a donk, but for all intents and purposes for this demonstration, I've made sure that we have a playable set of prize cards here that do not prevent us from getting the donk. So let's go ahead and play this Nest Ball, search our deck. We're going to get the Oranguru V. So this is going to be the key to donking your opponent. So this is Oranguru V. Obviously, there are other ways to get there, but this is the easiest. This is what you should be looking for, a way to get Oranguru V into the active position. In this case, we have the Nest Ball to search it out, and then a Double Turbo Energy to retreat into it. And now we should have the donk. We can go use Oranguru V. Its ability allows us to search our deck for 2 tool cards if it is active. So let's go ahead and search for the booster, which we will need, and the stone to search a deck for 1 more card. Attach the stone to Oranguru, which is a V Pokemon, so now we can use Star Alchemy, our V-Star power, search your deck for any card. We'll get that Precious Trolley. Key A-Spec, this is going to, if you miss donk, it's usually going to be because this card is prized. That is the most important card to get the donk off here. We'll use that Precious Trolley, and we'll get all the Pokemon that we need here. So we need the Brute Bonnet, Sneasler, Petrun, and Petrun EX. I've gotten a lot of people asking me why this Petrun EX is in the deck, and this is why. We've already retreated this turn, so we cannot retreat back into this Petrun, but we need to get this Petrun active in order to add that extra poison damage to our opponent's Pokemon. So we've already retreated with the Double Turbo Energy. Now we can just go Ancient Booster Capsule, use Toxic Powder, so now both of these Pokemon are poisoned. Then use Petrun EX's Subjugating Chains ability to bring Petrun up into the active spot. Petrun EX allows us to move one of our dark Pokemon from our bench into the active spot and poison it. So in this case, it allows us to move the Petrun into the active, and then we can just pass. That's 10 from poison, another 50 from poison, another 20 from poison, 80 poison damage to not get this Hoothoot on the first turn. And this is going to be the typical combo. You just need, as long as your stone and your trolley are in deck, you can even play 2 stone and 2 Oranguru if you want to make sure that you don't prize those pieces, but I am only playing 1 of each currently and for this list. But all you need to do is get this Oranguru into the active, use the ability to search for Forest Seal Stone and Ancient Booster Capsule, and then if you had to retreat to get the Oranguru in the active, whether with a Latias EX free retreat or with a Double Turbo Energy, then you need to Precious Trolley for all 4 of these Pokemon, get that Petrun EX out, and use Petrun EX to bring the Petrun back up into the active spot. Let's look at another hand. So in this hand, our Oranguru is prized, and so is our Latias, which could also cause some issues, but luckily we have that switch cart, so we are not going to need the Latias to retreat into the Oranguru. And our Oranguru is prized, but we did open the heavy ball. So of course you could also try digging for the heavy ball with something like Squawkabilly. If you had an Ultra Ball, you could Luminion for Carmine to try to draw into the heavy ball. But just for the purposes of this, I'm just showing, if we have the heavy ball, and then even if the Oranguru is prized, we do play 2 copies of this heavy ball, so we can heavy ball into the Oranguru, switch card into the Oranguru, and do the same thing as last game. We'll go ahead and grab Stone Booster, Stone for Trolley, and then Trolley for Petrant, Sneasler, and Petrant EX, and Brute Bonnet. And then in this case, if let's say this was prized, but this was in deck, then because we used the switch cart, we don't even necessarily need the Petrant EX. We can go for the Latias instead. We switched carded into the Oranguru, so now we can just retreat into the Petrant, attach that booster, poison this Rotom, and take the knockout. And let's look at one last hand here. So this one's a little bit different. We have this Terapagos in the active spot, and we don't have the a way to get the Oranguru active yet. Now, if this was Electrode, let's say, and let's say we didn't have this Terapagos, I'm just gonna discard it. Then Trolley could not get us the game here, and the reason why is because we need to find a way to get the Oranguru active, which requires us to bench Latias EX to retreat into it. And if we have to bench Latias EX to retreat into it, that's Latias, Oranguru, Sneasler, Petrant, Brute Bonnet, and then we still need the Petrant EX, so we don't have enough bench space. But luckily, with the Terapagos EX Area 0 combo here, we can do it. I'm also, for the purpose of this demonstration, I have the Baby Petrant prize. I'm only playing one of those, so but we can still get the donk here with that, thanks to opening the Precious Trolley. So we'll play the Precious Trolley, go ahead and search out Oranguru, Latias, Petrant EX, Brute Bonnet, Sneasler, and we could grab other stuff to fill the bench, but we don't need to. We can retreat for free thanks to Latias EX into the Oranguru, then use backorder, get Stone and Booster, and then we're going to attach the booster to Brute Bonnet, use that Toxic Powder, both activate when and now poisoned, and then we'll attach the Forest Seal Stone to Oranguru, Star Alchemy, get that Hisui and Heavy Ball for the Petrant, retreat, or subjugating chains into the Petrant, and that is another 80 damage donk on the Charmander. So those are just a few ways that you can get the donk off. What do we need for the donk? Let's establish exactly what cards that we need. I think this demonstration probably should tell you exactly what pieces you require to get that off, but to make sure everything is completely clear, we need the Oranguru. So that can be either Oranguru or Ultra Ball or Nest Ball or the Heavy Ball for the Oranguru if we have the Oranguru prized. And then we need to have Forest Seal Stone or to get Precious Trolley, or just to have the Precious Trolley. If we have the Precious Trolley, then we need a lot less, right? And then we need a way to get the Oranguru active, so that can be Double Turbo Energy or Switch Cart, or if we start with one of these pieces, whether it be the Petrant, the Bonnet, or the Sneasler, if we start with any of these, or the Petrant EX, then we have the bench space for Oranguru and Latias. Or if we have Terapagos plus Area 0, then another way that we have the bench space for Latias, and then we don't necessarily need a Switch card or a Double Turbo Energy. So that is everything that you need in order to donk your opponents with Klawfpagos. I hope this helps people identify some of those lines to make sure that you aren't missing donks where you could have them and passing up on those free wins. Good luck in your Klawfpagos gameplay. I hope your opponent opens many 80 HP or less Pokemon against you. Have a great day.